Hi, Bob Wilkins here again. This project illustrates a method for adding lights to an O Scale Lionel post-war caboose using an onboard power supply rather than track pickup. A switch is used to control the on-off function of the lights. 3 LEDs are installed. The battery will illuminate the caboose for over 5 days of continuous use. This setup can also be used on other O Scale cabooses. The components required include 3 LEDs, 2 red 3mm for the rear wall, and 1 soft white 5mm LED for the cabin, a 330 ohm resistor, some heat shrink tubing to protect the connections and wires, a 9-volt battery and battery terminal connector with wires, a slide switch, and some double-sided mounting adhesive to adhere the battery to the floor of the caboose. In addition, soldering is required. A small solder iron, solder and flux, a device such as a helping hands to assist in the soldering process helps. A small slow-speed drill and drill bits for the holes in the rear of the caboose is also needed. Some super glue and a 9-volt battery. The battery can be a rechargeable. The first step is to disassemble the cab by releasing the tabs or screws located at the end of the car. A round hole already exists in the center floor, and this will be used to place the switch. Use a ruler to mark the spot for the holes to be drilled for the red LEDs. These red LEDs should be positioned about 1 1/8 inches apart in the rear wall on each side of the door. Start with a small pilot drill bit to start the hole and use a 3/32 inch bit. This bit is smaller than the diameter of the red 3mm LEDs. Use the round file to ream the hole until the LEDs fit snugly in the holes. This will avoid the use of gluing, which can be an option. Next, the light circuit is prepared. First, identify the positive lead of the LEDs. This will be the longer lead. Now solder the negative lead of one red LED to the positive lead of the other. Space them about 1 1/4 inches apart as shown. Now solder the free negative lead of the red LED to the positive lead of the white LED as shown. This is termed an in-series arrangement for these LEDs. Next, shorten the 2 leads of the 330 ohm resistor and solder it to the free positive lead of the red LED. Now cut the black wire of the battery connector at around 1 inch in length. Strip, tin and solder to the end pin of the slide switch. Take the black cut wire and solder one end of it to the middle pin of the slide switch. Temporarily assemble the battery, switch, connector and light circuit to determine the spots for cutting the red and black wires that will connect to the light circuit. Leave enough slack so the cabin can be reassembled easily once the circuit is complete. Strip and tin with solder the ends of the red wire. Cut approximately 1 1/2 inches from the heat shrink tube and slip it over the red wire. Now solder the red wire end to the resistor. Slide the heat tube over the resistor to cover it and the solder joints. Heat with a heat gun or hairdryer set on high heat to shrink the tubing. Strip and tin the black wire end and solder it to the negative free lead of the white LED. Note the join is made towards the end of the light so that the white LED is facing in the opposite direction to the red. Slip the remaining ½ inch of heat shrink tube over the joint and heat it to shrink it into place. You can now remove and test the circuit with the battery and switch installed. If all works correctly, the slide switch can now be superglued into place. The double-sided adhesive pad is applied to the floor of the caboose just behind the switch. The battery is seated onto the adhesive in position on the cab floor behind the switch. Before reassembling the car, you might consider some optional improvements that can be made to the interior of the cabin. First, consider painting with a light coat of black primer or paint to cover the colored plastic of the interior. Next, you can add windows using clear plastic acetate as found in package material. Cut the plastic slightly wider than the size of the windows and adhere with a heavy-duty package tape to the wall. Finally, gluing of some heavy-duty aluminum foil to the interior roof with the shiny side down will help reflect some of the light throughout the cabin. The red LEDs can now be inserted carefully into the socket holes in the rear wall. Gluing is optional using a plastic or super glue. Position the white LED towards the center so it sits over the battery. Reattach the cabin via the tabs or screw. The caboose is now ready for the track. Remember to turn off the lights when not in use. A kit containing the components shown is available at the website modeltrainsounds.com as project number 8. These instructions can also be found there as a PDF file download. Thanks again for watching from modeltrainsounds.com.